We're setting off in less than 2 weeks, and when we arrive, the conditions could be as harsh as we'll experience for the whole expedition. Negative 25 degrees Celsius, high winds, driving snow, and certainly conditions where you cannot have any skin exposed to open air. People going on a polar expedition for the first time tend to create a lot of delay trying to figure out how to layer up and how to get their equipment prepared within a reasonable length of time. We're going to look at this and practice this in a simulated tent space. Okay, so a very small space where you have all of your kit and you have to dress up into it. You should time yourself. If it takes you 20 minutes to get dressed before you're going to leave your tent, then you need to plan for that so that you can be reliable to your teammates. So to begin with, consider what you'll be wearing when you sleep, when you're inside of your sleeping bag. That is your base system. You may want to change it once a week, but it stays on you. It's like a second skin, and even when you wash, you'll wash while wearing it, just by going underneath your clothing. Okay? So right now I've got on what would be for me a base layering system, merino tights, some good socks, and that's probably how I would sleep. I'm going to first put on my balaclava. Okay, actually I can wear this all day if I like, because if I'm too warm, I'll just knock it off the back like that. I'm going to put this on first because it's going to seal in my neck, and if the conditions are quite severe, it's going to seal in all of my face. These are my insulated trousers. These are made with a Primaloft, and actually it's exposed because I've cut the cuffs off. I've cut off all their pockets. On top of my insulated trousers, I'm going to put on my salopettes. Now, these are Gore-Tex, they've got a high bib, and I'm probably going to only need these for the coldest of days, but some people prefer just to have them on all the time. That's up to you. Okay, now as I'm layering up, I'm actually going to show you something else which relates to the layering system, which is the use of our pockets. Keep in mind, with this much clothing, you're going to have lots of pockets, and because we travel in a polar environment using a pulk, we're not really going to want to carry a rucksack. That means that anything you want close to hand, you should probably put in your pockets. And I'm going to go a step further and suggest that you leave it there permanently. So I'm going to use that pocket there actually to help me just to carry a snack close to the body. It'll prevent it from freezing. It'll make it easier for me to eat that when the time comes. This is my harness. Although it's not part of my layering system, I know that I'm going to find it easier to put this on before I get my boots on. I may as well put this on in the morning inside of my tent. Most of the expedition we're going to be on or near glacier. So the harness is just part of your clothing system, and you need to get used to having it on, putting it on, and keeping it to hand all the time. So there we go, I've got my harness on. There's a couple of things to mention about the down jacket. One thing is that your down jacket is something you're going to want to wear all the time, especially when you're cooking. It's probably a good place to put something like your lighter or whatever you use to light your stove. I use this pocket right here. I don't put anything else in it. That minimizes the chance of snow getting on my lighter. I want this to be warm, dry, and close to hand all the time, anytime I need it. I never put it down when I'm not using it anywhere but in this pocket. If I'm not wearing this jacket, no problem. It's probably in my tent with me. I still use that pocket as the place where I keep my lighter. My bear flares into this pocket here. I've got my polar bear defenses always built into my system in a way that I know I can get to them quickly. Next time I get my boots on, keep in mind that your boots will often live in the vestibule of your tent, although at night time I like to put mine in between my two sleeping bags just to keep them warm and help them to dry out through the night. Now remember, we've now got 3 layers of leggings on. I've got my Gore-Tex trousers, my Primaloft insulation, and I've got the base layer underneath. So at this stage, what I prefer to do is to get the insulation layer inside of my boot, if I can. It might require a little bit of stuffing, but if you know that's how you like to do it, you might as well take the time to get it done. And then I tighten up the boot and pull. My shell trousers are then going to go on top of the Sorel. A lot of people like to have the trousers inside the Sorel. I just find it's all a little bit packed in there with the zips and buttons. It allows snow just to shed straight off the trouser the whole way down. So you can figure out a system that works for you. The shell jacket has to be big enough to go over top of everything. You need to test this out and make sure that your layering system allows you to pull it on over top. Okay, I'm nearly done, so I've got a few pockets left and I know I've got a few things that I'm going to want throughout the day. So I'm going to load those in now, just to be sure. Something to eat my lunch with or my dinner as the day goes on, and I certainly don't want to lose it. I may as well just keep it close to hand all the time. Got my GPS. Of course, we're going to need this because we've got poor visibility today, and I'm going to be optimistic. I've got a bottle of sunblock. Pop that in there. That's now taken me between 5 and 10 minutes, and I'm ready to leave the tent. Once I get out there, I'm going to be loading up my pulp and getting on the move as quick as possible. There's not really any coming back to the tent at this point. And of course, the conditions are going to be extremely punishing on my hands today. One of the hardest parts to properly keep warm out there. So I'm going to use my biggest mitts on top of my leather gloves. Here we go. When you're doing your test run of all your kit for the extreme conditions, you want to leave it on for just long enough that you get a sense of how it feels to be dressed like that and how you can adjust things on the move. Once you start skiing, or if we move into mountainous terrain, you're obviously going to layer down, okay? Good luck.